Alright. The bench is a mess. I'm a mess. The world is a mess. Let's get going. I was going to try to do some more cleanup upstairs because it is still a mess after trying to take care of my housemate after she is recovering from surgery since November. And Body is like, are you frickin' out of your mind? And made no point about going, nope, this isn't happening today. Nope. So, we're going to be in the basement working on the printer instead, because I can actually still sit at a desk. Now, we've gotten a lot further with the printer since the last time that you've seen it, because the last time I was actually on anybody's stream, we were still more or less working on the physical build. This time, however, we are not doing that. We are instead halfway, in fact most of the way, through the wiring of the entire project. I started it last weekend and got a lot further than I expected. But now I'm at the point where I need to put the display on and make the display cable. Now here's the fun thing with the standard Voron display. It doesn't look very complicated, and yes, it does have a micro USB port on it. Yeah, you can't see that. No one can see it. Whatever. It does have a micro USB port on it, but the problem is that once you put that in the enclosure, it's not going to look right. It's not going to look right at all. And because it's not going to look right, it's going to actually stick out from the side, which means that it's going to be very easy to actually break this connector off. So we're not going to be doing that. Hi, Trina. It sounds like it's raining on my mic. Oh, no. Okay, just a sec. Let's see what I can do about it. Okay. Why is the snowball just not working at all now? Any better? Okay, there we go. So, hopefully, Trina, tell me if it sounds any better now. I didn't even bother checking it. I just said, no one watches these silly things anyways, so why should I bother? And then someone had to go and watch it. For some reason that I have not been able to figure out, once in a while this old blue snowball that I have just decides to sound really fuzzy and staticky, and I have no idea if it's the snowball, if it's something else. I have no clue what's going on with that. I think I got all of this. Looks like it did. Okay, let's start melting. still have lots of rain. Okay, so the snowball's not going to is not going to actually cooperate today. All right, let's try the other microphone. It's not as good. I don't like this microphone nearly as much. But all right, let's try that. Sorry, not sorry, lol. Yeah. Okay. So a few problems with this. One, I needed to trim the flashing off of that. And two, it's a bit of a tight fit. You can get it to fit, but only barely. And to try to fit it in both dimensions is not easy. It's like just barely there. I could probably get it, but I'm not sure if I want to. Oh, never mind. You're just going to snap right in and prove me wrong. You jerk. And this is actually going to be a problem because I needed to not do that yet. Also, that connector's really wonky. What? Okay, so first things first, let's pry this out of there. If I can, without stabbing myself again today. Don't ask. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to pull on this connector because I actually don't care too much about the boot connector. Nope, that's not going to work either. Okay, where's the Jimmy? There we go. There we go. Jimmy to the rescue again. Okay, thank you for letting me know, Trina. Like, okay, so first of all, let's take a look at this wonky-ass boot connector that's on this thing, because, oh, jeez, it is bad. And no, I still don't have a better microphone. You're all gonna have to just endure with the cheap $40 crap that I actually currently have. Me too. This is how it came from the factory. This is how it came from the factory. Oh my god. It's crooked and it's not flush to the board, and I can't actually fix it because it's underneath the display. It looks like it's probably got good connectivity, but oh man, what the hell? You know what? I'm gonna just try not to care because apparently no one else did when they built this anyway. So whatever. We're just not gonna care either. So what we're gonna do, instead of using the USB port on the end, which sticks out, even with a right angle adapter, that would put a lot of strain on this connector. Conveniently, they have breakout pins right here. Now there's two ways I can do this. I could either put a connector here and then connect that to my wiring harness, or I can get some pins and shove the pins in there instead. Actually, that's a good question. If I actually have the pins, do I have a set of 4-pin JST connectors? I've got a bag of right angle 3 pins. Do I have a 4-pin somewhere? Let's go digging around in the boxes. One of these boxes should have a box full of JST connectors. These are pH connectors, but let's actually check that because I don't know if the pitch is going to be right. So, for those who don't know and don't do this kind of nonsense regularly, there are multiple pitches of pinouts for electronics, if you can believe it. Okay, pH, definitely too small. So I need an XH. Surprising nobody. Question is, do I even have one of those just lying around? Got a box. Okay, I have a box. Do I have any 4-pinners in here? And the answer is yes, I do. One 4-pin connector does not actually fit. Well, ain't that spiffy? It fits just fine. So there's a little bit of a dangerous soldering job there, because it's right next to the display. That's going to be fun. But at least I can key it. I think that when I built this the last time, I just put a set of regular IC pin headers on here, like some of these nonsense things, and then use DuPont connectors. There's nothing wrong with those, but for 4 pins, that's kind of a loose connection. And I'd really rather, and it's also not polarized, and this is polarized, because you have to have plus and minus, plus 5 and ground on the other end. So we want that polarized. Do I have a 4-pin housing? I see I have a bunch of 3-pin. Oh, what do you know? Hey, look at this. A 4-pin housing. Who would have guessed? Okay. So we have a JST connector. All right. So let's go back to the bench. And let's just set that aside for now. And let's get our soldering rig set up. Since this is going to be such delicate work, I really don't want to use the Hako, because the Hako's got too thick of a tip on it. Get your mind out of the gutter, Trina. I know you're thinking. I know you're thinking it. Yeah. Probably don't need all 4 of these, but it's handy to have all of them. And actually, it might be useful to have them anyways, because I think what I'm going to do is try to pinch it like that, so that the connector is actually somewhat taut. And then we just deal with it on the other ends. That should do. That should do just fine. Okay, cool. Guess I don't need this because it fit in the housing, amazingly. I guess the other printer actually was calibrated to the correct size. Who would have imagined that? One of my printers built from junk actually working? Astonishing. Let's clean up some of this stuff. This is the worst knife I have. What's with this? Why does this come out? Why is this not blocked like that? What? You really think that these 2 little pinchers on the end are enough? I have half a mind to go and take a pin vise and drill a hole all the way through this, and then put a bolt through it. It'd probably stay on there longer. Just, what? Should have went to the hardware store and bought one of those instead. It would have worked better. Okay. Don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. Okay. And we do need, however, our soldering iron. We're gonna not use... Oh, we have a bit of a kerfuffle, actually. Where did that go? I dropped something. I dropped... The soldering tip disappeared on me. No, it isn't. There it is. And we're going to use this soldering tip, because we still have the threaded insert tip on here, which is surprisingly works pretty well. I was kind of surprised by that. Anyways, let's get YOLO that off of there. So I have to say, I'd actually decided on a lark to go rewatch The Force Awakens last night. I know, there are already people yelling at me for, why are you watching that piece of shit, blah, 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 blah. And I gotta tell you, it is an entirely different experience to watch that in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, in 2026. It's a whole other experience. Oh my. You will feel differently about how the characters are reacting to things. I kid you not. Okay, and we need a power supply for our soldering iron. And I suppose I should be good and actually set up the fume extractor, shouldn't I? What lungs? I don't need my lungs. Okay. See if that's too loud, let me know, I'll turn it down. And that's pretty buzzy to me, but... Okay, let's see if I can get a wider cast on that, because this microscope has all the ability to view a wider field as some American politicians. Okay, and right there, please. And let's switch our scene around. Keep wondering if I should get one of those visors which actually have a magnifying glass built into them, because if I bring the lamp over, I'm just going to blow up the color in the scene here. I can always try turning it down, but even then the lamp is just so bright. What if I just turn it off? Actually, that might be enough for me. Let's make a paltry effort here to actually center the display. Yeah, this is so tricky to do it around this display. I hate it. Ugh, that is miserable. Let that go, though. That is almost a little bit too dark for me, but... do I have a different lamp setting I can use on here? Yes, that's acceptable. It's a bit more light. It's a calming, pleasant light. There we go. That's a bit better. That joint even fine. I think it is, actually. A little bit toasty. Let's try the next one. Ah, okay. And I don't think I burned the display when I did that. So yeah. Can barely hear you since switching scenes. Okay. That's probably because I turned the microphone down. I'll turn it right back up again. You can hear all of my wonderful fan noise. Okay. How are we doing? How'd that go? They don't look cross-soldered at all. Connector is nice and solid, flush to the board. Yeah, that's pretty good. Nice JST connector too, so that is going to be very nice. Okay, is there anything else on here I should probably solder on a connector for? There's a bunch of additional switches that I could actually put on here, but the front panel display does not have those. The cover doesn't have them. The bezel doesn't have a spot for them. So they may not be populated. There's another pin header here, but that's below the display, so we're not going to bother. I think we're going to just stop there and take the win of using that. Okay. That's what we're going to do. Do I need a soldering iron for anything else? I don't think I do. Okay. Let's put the... Someday I will have that on a much nicer... nicer... or something. You know. If things don't transpire again and things get even worse here again. Okay. Let's assume that we're done with the soldering iron, so we're going to put that away. Trina's only here for the only fan noises. Oh, of course you are, Trina. That's why we love you. Okay, those are DuPont connectors. Those are more DuPont connectors. We don't want those. And those are also more DuPont connectors. I could have sworn I had some JST headers. There they are. I knew they existed somewhere. Okay, so we have our pigtail. This is a cable I made yesterday. So we just need to connect that. And my reference is actually this little breakout board, which has all of the pins identified pretty much in the same order. It's upside down, but this square pin is ground, which pretty much tells you everything you need to know. So that's blue, that's ground. This one's positive, and then there's data in the middle. So we'll not worry about that because we are going to do some crimping. Let's get rid of the microscope because we don't need you for now. Go away. Sometimes I wonder if I should get a better stand for the microscope, but that one does work. It's further toward the back of the bench than I'd like, but it does work, so whatever. Doesn't really matter. Amazingly, I have already lost where I put those JST pins. Right here. Oh, God. There's some of them. There's probably more hiding somewhere. I'll find them later, I guess. I hope I find them later, because if those are the only 4 I've got left, I'm going to be upset. Because those are the only ones that I have left now. No, I have some in here. I have a whole bag. Okay, cool. Messy desk for the win. It's not actually a win. It's actually kind of terrifying and awful. Come back. Come on. Come on. There we go. I think that's right. You would never lose anything on a stream. No, not you, Trina. Tonight's Monstrodon is Hercules, 1983, I believe. It's the one where he tosses the bear. Look at my Mastodon if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Oh, that one was a little crooked, but it should be fine. That should be fine. You see, the real method of my madness is I'm just going to keep building printers out of stuff that's on my desk until my desk is clean. And then I won't need to build printers anymore. Surely nothing with this plan can go wrong. Nothing at all. No. That one's being... No, that's fine. That's fine. It's hard to tell sometimes. With these little tiny XH connectors, this crimper is actually a bit too big for it, but it's the only one I could successfully get crimps done with it. I have the other crimper, and you can tell that this one's a lot thinner because it's just a sheet instead of one of these thick jaws. And in theory, it should work just fine, but I just have a hell of a time using this thing. I've barely been able to use it because it just doesn't want to really work for me. Maybe I need more practice, but I don't really want to try that right now. I have many of these connectors to make today, and I don't care to actually try my luck at using one of them that I don't know what to do with. Now the real fun part is I probably am not going to install this display yet today because it sticks out from the case, and because it sticks out from the case, it's actually going to be a hazard if I lay it down, if I lay the printer down on its front, and I don't want to do that just yet. So the idea here is to build, get this soldered, get this assembled, get this cable made, and then set that aside until one of the last steps when building the printer. Ew, that one's really, really crooked, isn't it? Or is it fine? I can't tell. Let's find out. We're just going to go for it and see what happens. Looks fine. Okay. All right, so this one is 5 volts on this side. So 5 volts is going to be this pink connector. And it's on that side, so it's going to be on this side, which means it should go in this pin. Ah! And I hope I get that right, because if I don't, I'm going to have to repin the whole damn thing all over again. Also, before I go any further, where is that piece of clear... this piece? Piece of clear... No, I could slip that over later if I wanted to. Barely. Yeah, we're going to do that now. We're going to do that now. We need some sort of probing tool to shove that through. Come on. Come on. Thank you. There we go. Come back. Come back. Arr. No! You little jerks, get in there. Thank you. There we go. Much better. All right. And we should know that this is actually ground, so that should be here. Then we just need to worry about the data pins. So in this connector, data positive is actually next to ground, which means it's purple. Data positive here is also next to ground, so it parallels a USB-A connector, which is good for us because that means that we should be good to go. Snap. And come on. Oh, you're going to be a little punk. Why are you being a punk? It's hard to... Are you Blackadder? Are you Blackadder and are you going forth? Yeah, sure, why not? God, I have not seen that since I was in, like, high school and we only had PBS in the house. Okay. In theory, we should be able to slot this in now and test our connections. They look right, but let's beep them out and actually make sure. Okay, ground to ground. Not cross-wired. Data positive. Not cross-wired. Data negative. And not cross-wired. And 5 volts positive. Perfect. That is all the way through on that connector, so we should be good to go. Cool. And now it has a big, huge pastel gay tail on it. That's right, Republicans. Ooh, scary wiring coloring. All right, let us seal this cable up. Oh, now that I think about it, we didn't need this piece of clear at the end. I'm over-designing it. Do I want to keep that or do I want to snip it off? Because if we don't need it, I don't really want it on there. Let's snip it off. I mean, I could try forcing it back through. That's just silly, though. I'm going to damage this thing just trying to save a small piece of clear heat shrink. That's just silly. Hello, Elise. We're just not going to bother saving that. That's okay. That's why they're consumable. All right, where is my cable sheathing? This is as much cable sheathing as I have left. Less than a meter. And this thing is very long. I hope I'll have enough to do this whole project. I don't really want to spend more money. Now I have this much cable sheathing to do all 4 of the case fan interconnects. That's how much I have left, everybody. Will she have enough cable sheathing? Find out next time on the next Dragon Ball Z. I could also use like the thicker cable sheathing, because it is in fact quite a pain to get these 4 wires into here. Come on. There we go. That's one. That's one. Let's do this one. Trying to decide if the reason why my fingers hurt is because they're dry or because I have already made my blood sacrifice to safety this week on this finger and I'm being skittish about putting too much pressure on it, so I don't add some unexpected dye to my project again. Probably a bit of both. It's trying to be February again in Minnesota. For a while, it was trying to be like March. Oh, it's also not March. It's also not February anymore. It's March today. Time is an illusion. Last time on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, I actually recorded a voice clip of me trying to do my best Mahel Barrett, specifically of that kind of a thing, for a somewhat notable YouTuber, and I don't know if that clip even is ever going to get used, ever. But that's okay. I'm not sure if it was a very good likeness anyways. Ow. You know, what would happen if I use a spudger on this? Is that just insane? Use a tool instead of finger? Y'all come here to watch me fight with cable sheathing for 45 minutes. Oh. Maybe I shouldn't have trimmed my nails earlier this week either. Come on. Yeah, I haven't seen the new Star Trek Academy one either. I keep the Starfleet Academy series. I have not seen it yet. I don't have Paramount Plus. I actually canceled all of my streaming services to save money quite some time ago. I'm just kind of like hoping that there'll be a DVD release of it and I can just slurp it up then. There might already be if the season's already finished. Oh, this is miserable because my fingers hurt so much today. Ow. These long ones are like the worst because you can't quite get them. You know, why am I using this plastic one? This plastic one has sharp corners. That's not going to help me. I need the one with the rounded corners, like this one. Because this one should be a little bit easier. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, that's starting to look like a cable. Don't need that bag anymore. And now we need our ginormous bag of heat shrink tubing. More heat shrink tubing than I think I'd ever need in the rest of my life. I probably shouldn't say it like that, considering socio-political circumstances right now. Oh no! I might not be able to actually put the ceiling on this one. Okay, so we're going to be repinning that then. That's gonna suck. But you know what? Whatever. If I'm careful, I can get these pins out and then I can repin it. I get the heat shrink over it. Come on. Come on. You know, those particular tweezers might just suck. Do I have a better pair hiding somewhere? No, but I found more JST connectors. That's fun. Okay, no, I can't find them. I'll find it. I thought I found the other tweezers somewhere. Aha! There we go. Because that pair really sucks. I had that one for a second and then I lost it. So what I'm trying to do is I press down this little barb that's on the back of these JST connectors and press that on through the housing. That one just does not want to go. Come on. Come on. There we go. And you don't need to really bend these up very high either. Just enough is all they need. Okay. Fortunately, there's still enough on the end of this cable to make a service loop if I have to, or if I have to repin the whole thing. Also, I can see one of the cables coming through here, so we need to fold that over again. Why didn't I think about using the spudger before? Could have really used this last weekend. And sometimes I think no good. Okay. I'm back here. you go. One cable. Now we just need to get this one repinned. It's such a mess. Very carefully lift the barbs just a little bit. Get them all sticking up again. And then it should just be a matter of putting it back into the into the housing. So we know that it's connected this way, and 5 volts is this way, and 5 volts is bright pink. So that should be this guy. Watch as I'll get this wrong this time somehow. If I'm not mistaken after that. D positive is purple. D positive is right next to ground. Come on. And then, of course, yellow is the only one left. Solid, that one's solid, that one's solid, and that one's solid. Cool. All right, there we go. Get some rest, Trina. You can leave it on, and you can fall asleep to the the soothing sounds of soldering. Alright, there we go. Let's go and wire that up again and actually see if we broke it, or if I got the pins incorrect. We would rather find that out now than later. Alright, there we go. We have a cable. Ah, that's good to know. Alright, so now we have our front panel display cable all nicely wired up. Because I know some of you really love that. Okay, so it should just be a matter of pressing this in. Snap. I probably should have bothered with the diffuser, but I don't care. I went to the effort to resin print the diffuser for this the last time, and it just didn't seem like it was worth much of the effort. Like, sure, okay, it looks nice, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, you go on here. Do I just force you on? Yeah, apparently I just force you on. Okay, there you go. It's got a knob. Seems pretty good. I don't think I damaged anything. I didn't press very hard if I did. Okay, and it uses self-tapping 2.5mm screws. Nice. Weirdly enough, I have those. I have way more of those than I probably ever could use in my entire life. Okay, do I want to bother pre-drilling those, or should I just YOLO it? Usually, let's take that connector out of there. Also, let's turn off the microscope and go back. Don't need that anymore. Whoa. How are these actually built? How are these oriented in the printer? So putting on the display is usually one of the last steps. It's part of the skirt assembly, which means it's above there, above there. It is with the little tabs facing inward. Okay, that's what I thought. And not that direction. Because it's under mounted, so it's mounted this way. Do I want to bother reaming those out with a particular tool? Maybe. So one thing I definitely don't want to do is I don't want to crack the plastic here, because this is a non-trivial print, just with the decoration and also the layer leveling that's required. It's a tricky print. It's not a hard print, it's not a complicated print or a long print, but it is a tricky print. So I want to be careful with it. Ah, ouch. That looks about right. Use one of these little pin vices and a very, very small drill. And we'll just make sure that those are clear all the way through. That one is too. If I remember correctly, the last time I built this, the smart way of doing this was you put in the bolts first. Oh, that is very tight. Why is that one so tight? Oh, screw head is too big on that one. Is this one of those where I have to go and ream it out the other with one of these big guys again? Probably. Just get those just proud of the surface so that you can feel it poking through. Just enough to register on the board. Let's just see if it works. You don't even need to really wail on this or crank it down very hard. You just need to make sure that it's flush and not pulling the whole model back up with it. That's pretty good. Yeah, okay. That turned out pretty well. No distortion, no weird coloration on the surfaces. So yeah, that turned out pretty well. Let's do that with this one. And this print is particularly on model, so should just be a matter of, that's kinked the wrong direction, but yeah, it just barely fits in there, locked with a JST connector. That's very nice. Okay, one display assembly ready to go. Should we plug it in? Give it some power and see what it does. Nothing. It doesn't do anything when you give it power because it doesn't have a handshake from Clipper. I think I actually remember doing that before. All right, so we now have a display assembly. Cool. All right, let's clean these up. I don't want to have these tiny little drill bits all over the place. They're so tiny. They're so tiny. Ah. I can, with a little bit of effort, I can even get those two Dremel bits inside of this little tiny thing. Cool, that's nice. There. Get that out of the way. Okay, what is the next step? What's the next bit of this project? I think we're probably going to end up making even more cables. That sounds like the rest of my plan. I'm going to show you why once I grab the printer. Oh, that's right. Standing hurts today. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, so a lot of wiring has been done on the printer since we last talked. As you can see, it is much, much more populated now than it was before. So we have the case fan wired up, we have AC power wired up to both the MCU and also to the Nighthawk breakout board that's up here. We have the motors all connected. That was actually from before. I haven't decided if I'm going to sheathe these. I probably won't have enough sheathing to do it. So I might just skip that for now. And it'll be fine. Adding sheathing to those doesn't necessarily improve them all that much. And they are clumsy to sheath because the motors are in tight spots. We made the USB cables for the USB breakout for the Nighthawk as well as the USB to MCU interconnect. What we didn't do is this middle breakout board. So the problem is that I have 2 Nevermores and 2 24-volt lights that need to run on this. And I only have 2 different pin headers to do that in. We don't need these for the hot end fans because the Nighthawk is going to do that with its own breakout via USB and its own 24-volt power source. It even has a buck converter to give you 5 volts. So that's actually pretty great, and that makes this wiring a lot simpler. But we still only have these 2 here. I'm guessing I could probably repurpose some of these other headers here that aren't doing anything, but I'm going to repurpose these 2. And in order to repurpose that, I have this breakout board, which just puts them in, puts these, it's a 1 to 2. So we have 2 inputs and 2 sets of 2 outputs. That's it. Both of these are going to go to the lights. So one of these will go to the top interconnects, and another one will go to the bottom interconnects. The case actually has, because I designed it that way, holes. These holes. And these holes are for a Molex 3-pin connector, which should be on my bench somewhere, hopefully. I have faith that it's here somewhere. I think that's these right here. Yeah, there they are. And these are the case interconnects. And the case interconnects, we're going to have 2 for the lights and 2 for the bottom. And there'll be 2 here that are just going to be unpopulated. I'll probably put the connectors through on these, but I'm probably not going to actually do anything with that. So what we need to do is we need to make 4 cables of 2-pin JST connectors to those outputs and 2-pin JST connectors to these outputs. And I just realized that the wires aren't actually color-coded, that I recycled. These are both the same color. That wasn't very smart of me. All right, well, let's find out if they're actually wired at all similarly. I don't think that running an ohm meter through that's going to destroy anything. So that's actually backwards, if I'm not mistaken. Because, yeah, I think that's backwards. So, like, if I want to probe this one here, if I can actually hold it still, and yeah, that's backwards. Of course it is. This is what I get for recycling these, which means I should probably pull those out and repin them. Is the other one backwards too? Or is that one actually correct? It's my own damn fault. I should have actually paid attention to that. Okay, that one's correct. So only the pink one's backwards. Cool. Okay, so we just need to repin the pink one. I need to swap those around. Ugh, why'd I do that? I should have thought of that. I was too interested in getting these connectors reused because I don't have a lot of them left. Alright, hopefully that's the right direction now. Okay, so from the lock facing side up, that should be the left one, correct? Locks facing side up, that should be the right one. Hello? Correct. Okay. So now they have the same polarization. Okay, cool. So that's good at least. So in theory, whatever this pinout is should be whatever this is. There is my hope. I need to make sure that I have that pinned out correctly. Alright, so making wires. How do we make wires? Well, first of all, we need to pick our colors. I have some blue, and I have some pink, and that's what I've been using. So let's do that. And how are we going to route these? Because 2 of these are going to go to the lights, and these are going to go to the fans, is my guess. So the lights, I can route them up and over, or I can route them down and around. And I think I might route them down and around. So what we want then is we want to fish that through. And get that kind of lined up to about here-ish. Okay, so we're going to do the lights first on the JST side first. It's 3 o'clock. Still plenty of time. How much? Okay. Do you see the problem, everybody? Do you see the problem? We're going to run out of sheathing. So we're going to order some more sheathing when I'm done with this. Darn it. I shouldn't have made that gamble. I knew I was going to lose. I was never very lucky. Before we strip that, we need to take our pink wire and actually do that. We need to do this twice because we're making 2 of these wires and they're about the same length. Failure. Shaka when the walls fell. I did not win against the war against sheathing. I probably would have won if I actually used the thicker 1/4-inch sheathing that I have extra of instead of the 1/8 sheathing for the USB cables. But it's so chunky. It's so chunky. I'm just gonna have to buy more. That's all there is to it, really. Oh well. At least we can get it started, right? The good thing with the 2-pin JSTs, in fact, that's actually a good question. Do I have enough 2-pin JST connectors somewhere? Do I have to go and scavenge? I'm going to have to scavenge, but fortunately not very hard. I've got this old wiring harness, and I'm just going to steal a lot of the wires. Some of them are already, like, populated, but let's just steal them. We're just going to take a couple of these and steal their connectors. In fact, that's 4 connectors, and that's all we need. Do I have one on here that only has 3? I do. This guy. Haha! There, 1, 2, 3 connectors. Because there's actually a free housing in the printer that I stuffed in there earlier. Okay, so let's get these all dehoused. These are actually too short, is my guess. Oh yeah, those are too short. Those wouldn't work very well. This one has a 3-pin on the end. Dude! Not cool. Now I have to pull a different cable. You jerk. And my headphones are running out of power. Figures. Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. I know that I almost had you. Ah, there we go. 2 housings. Okay. Switch my headphones out. There we go. I do have a set of wired headphones in my pocket if I wanted to use those, but the problem with the wired headphones is that then I can't hear anything that anyone trying to get my attention from upstairs. So I always have, I'm only using one earphone at any point. And I am listening currently to Drone Zone on soma.fm as they're having their Sunday long-form drone today, which is, you know, pretty nice if you just want some atmosphere. Yesterday when I was working in the shop myself, I actually decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to listen to some audio dramas, and I got some audio dramas, and I had a good time. I listened to one with the, I think it was it was the second Doctor, but it was actually a Jamie episode. And it was a companion chronicle, so it was all told from his perspective in kind of a narrative instead of as if you were listening to a play. So they describe what's happening to you instead. There we go. All right, let's take a look at the pinout for the SKR. Where are you? That's a Bandcamp song. There's the SKR. Okay, the SKR has positive. So this is where on the SKR Pico, the lock is up, and for all of the fans, positive is the right one. So that's what we decided we're going to stick to here as our convention, so we're going to wire that up like so. And then we do it again. Okay. The towels just stopped. The dryer just stopped, so hopefully the towels are all dry. Usually takes like 2 sometimes 3 cycles to clean all of the washcloths and kitchen towels and body towels. Just so many towels. Oh, that is not mounted correctly in there. Come on. Oh, we'll try that. It might work. The fun part's really going to be when we get to the Molex connectors, because those are some different beasts in order to wire those up. I may even have to pull out the soldering iron again in order to make sure that the Nevermore fans are wired with the Molex connectors, because those ones came from the previous printer build, the first Voron Zero printer build, and they did not have case interconnects. It just had a little JST connector header, and that was a bad design because they had no structural strength to hold on to anything. There we go. And those should be the same, and they are. Perfect. So now we just need to start doing our Molex connectors. These ones are 3-pin Molex connectors. And if I'm not mistaken, this little pack also comes... Wait, there's only 3 of them in here? Seriously? Okay, so we're going to order more Molex connectors too. Oh my universe. It's a good thing that I'm going to probably just wrap up soon, because, oh, that is frustrating to discover. Oh, sorry, you don't have... I thought this was a pack of 6. No, it's a pack of 3, apparently. Unless if there's another pack hiding somewhere on my bench, but I don't think so. Okay, Molex pins. I'm trying to remember. Did I pin these out already? Somewhere. One fan, 2 fan. Nope, I have no idea. And I don't know how I wired them on the previous printer. So that's fun. Trying to remember which one of these has which pins on it, because it was always backwards from what I expected. Am I too tired to do this today? Perhaps. Yeah, if I remember correctly, they go in here. Maybe I should just go look it up. I don't wanna. actually believe I have it backwards. Those go on there. These are what goes into the board, so this is where we want to have the pins. So I think that's how that works. And I don't remember if I did them positive or on top and negative on the bottom or what. I don't remember at all. And these don't have any on them, so I can't tell, because these are the fans for the Nevermores. Now, it's not that I can't repin these later if I wanted to. I do have the Molex repinning tool for that, but it's just a pain in the butt. So we need more sheathing and more Molex connectors. And then maybe we can finish this build. Maybe. It's yeah. Okay, now this one, I'm going to guess that I actually put the negative terminal on the bottom of these. No, nope, I already screwed it up. We're going to find out, because I'll go upstairs and find out how I built it on the other printer. Actually, I wonder if I should stop the stream earlier than I expected, since it's going to be, since I don't have enough sheathing to actually finish this, or enough Molex connectors to finish this. If it might be a good idea to just stop early, so that we don't get too bogged down in me trying to scrounge for parts when I clearly just don't have them and should just order new ones. And that way, we make sure that when I do have the opportunity to stream again in a week, that I might be able to actually finish the electrical side of this. Because the wiring is always just exhausting to do for these. You wouldn't think it. You wouldn't think that the wiring was going to be the problem, but man. We still have lots of build to do, too. I still have the entire tool head to build. I still have the Nighthawk to build. That's going to take a while. So we're still probably at least 2 whole weeks out from finishing this thing. Or at least doing the first power-up before we actually start sealing it all together. What I think I might do, at least, is put one of these in there. So let's see here. What was that thing? And I dropped one of the housings. It's gone. Oh. I mean, there's another connector right here on the floor that has some more housings on it. It has some more 2-pin housings, so it's fine. But that's frustrating. Yeah, I'm beginning to think that we're getting close to stream end time here. Just so that I don't lose my whole mind doing this. Okay, so the orientation for this one should be the same, which means we want Ow, why is this one being such a jerk? Because I was putting it in upside down. Okay, that's why. Huh, they actually have a key at the bottom of that. Who would have guessed? Yeah, there's a little slot in there that corresponds to the open top of the pin. Who would have guessed that they would have designed it so that you couldn't put it in any other way? Almost like they thought about things and junk. Okay, and we're not going to be pinning this one because it just doesn't have anywhere to go. So let's put all of these back. Let's put the... I can always borrow the housing off of this fan too because it's not going anywhere. Okay, let's see about shoving that into the printer. At least one of them. So if I only have 3 of these, I think what I'd rather do is put them in there just for that one, and I think I actually have to do it from the other side, which is going to be real fun. I think the way to go around that is probably to remove the privacy panel. Not with that bit. That bit is way too small. Need a slightly bigger bit. Probably this one. Nope, that is also not the right kind. No. Oh, I see where it is. I put it in the little flexible thing. That's where it went. Okay. Take off the privacy panel here. That should give us access to the interconnects pretty easily. Just pop that out. There we go. And in theory, it's just, you slide that on. Actually, no, I think I actually have to remove this housing entirely, install it, and then slide it through the case barrier. I think that's how I designed it, so that it's captive multiple ways. Snaps right in like that. And then no. Yeah, this one's always going to be the tricky one because it's spanning two separate plates here. Got one. You need to get into the other one. Where are you binding? I think that would be about right. Feels like it should be right. Am I putting it in the upside down? Or what's going on here? Oh, nothing's going on, it's fine. Okay, whatever. One board interconnect. And I can always remove those later and pin them if I need to put yet another accessory in here. It looks like we'll need another JST 2-pin housing to connect the lights, as they use 2-pin JSTs. We'll just have a short one to this interconnect. This one will have a short one to this Nevermore mount. And this middle one is just unpopulated. There we go. Let's tighten that back up. There we are. And it looks like the way I designed it is that so that you can actually pull them out from the inside. What? Oh, I hope I did not design this case badly. That would be really upsetting to discover at this point. I used the same cutouts, so I don't think so. I'm probably just missing a detail. Is it that I need to press this even further through? I think that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. So it actually holds, it actually sticks out quite a bit more. These little pins actually have to be on the outside of it. That's what it is. Yeah, that makes sense. And again, I designed it so that when you put the little connector on, you can do so from inside the case without having to remove the side panel. See? It's a little awkward, but you can do it. And we can just leave that in there for now. Okay. That would subsequently mean that these would be positive on the negative on the bottom, which might be okay. Do I want to stop here and actually validate that so that I can repin these later, or I want to just YOLO it and not care? Because the idea of having a standard pin layout here is only just for my benefit if I want to swap out one Nevermore with another without having to repin them. The thing is that I'm not sure if that makes any difference. I seem to recall that I chose positive on the top and negative on the bottom, and if there's a data pin that goes in the middle. I seem to remember that, but you know what? Whatever. Oh no, how could I even get there? Oh no. Oh, that's tricky. I might have to get the extension out just to unscrew that more effectively. And no, I still haven't put the belts on the printer yet. There's still so much more work to do on this thing. And yeah, actually, before I put this in the case, because if I put this in the case, I won't be able to. Okay, so there is actually a good reason to stop. And the good reason to stop here is, if I'm not sure about the polarity, I still have to get at least the sheathing on, and I only have enough sheathing for one of these. So it almost makes sense to just stop. So let's do a few things real quick here. We're going to first of all take these little flathead screws, of which I only have so many of them left, and we're going to make sure that they are in their homes first of all, so we can find them next week. And I think I'm going to just wrap the stream in a minute. Go upstairs, have something to drink, watch a video, check the polarity on those other connectors, order more frickin' parts, because of course I needed more sheathing and more Molex connectors. Put the panel, put the privacy panel back in. If you're wondering why these two holes are unpopulated, it's because they fouled on this Molex connector. So you don't really need both of them, and on a bigger printer you'd print this in all one huge piece, so it wasn't important. But yeah. Anyways, so I think I'm going to wrap, and we're going to pick up all of this next week, and we're going to finish putting in these other Molex connectors. Hopefully we will have all of the interconnects and all of the sheathing and be able to get all of that wired up, because I really would love to see what this looks like with these UV lights and all this fluorescent filament that I have in here. I think it's going to look pretty good. All right, so thank you for joining me. Bye.